Right, so in today's video, we're going to be getting on and giving this lawn its very first feed. But before we do that, let's get on, let's give it a cut. It was last cut on Wednesday, and at time of recording, it is a Saturday, so it has been a few days. The edge hasn't been done for over a week. It's looking a bit of a mess, so let's tidy it up before we start. Just ignore the spaces which are burnt. That's just caused by the dog's wee when he's tried to wee on the plants. And also someone did mention in a previous video, or a few people did, about getting myself some edge and shears, just because it'll give us a little bit of a nicer cut and it'll give me a little bit more accuracy rather than using the strimmer against all these plants at the front. But it's on my list, just not got it yet. Right, so there we go, the lawn is cut. You might have noticed as well that I left the collection bag off the allet. Now, the reason why I did that is because I wanted the clippings just to stay on the lawn. We are about to go through a little bit of a dry spell over the next few days at time of recording. So, you know, by leaving the clippings on the lawn, it's going to break down, it's going to add some more goodness into the plants, almost like a natural fertilizer in a way. I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time because then it can start to build up a little bit more thatch in your lawn than you would like, but every so often isn't a bad idea. So let's now get on with the feed. But before we do, let me explain which one I'm going to be using. So the lawn feed we're going with in today's video is True Grass, and that's for a few different reasons. The main reason why I'm going with True Grass as opposed to a different type of fertilizer is because it contains a low amount of nitrogen, so it's not going to promote too much top growth. And also as well, the main thing this is for is conditioning the soil. A few people commented on the last video when I actually fertilized this space for, I think, the third time, warning me against, you know, if I put too much fertilizer down, I'm going to end up scorching the grass. And what they didn't kind of realize, I don't think, is that the True Grass that I've put down, it's an organic fertilizer. It's there to actually put good nutrients down into the soil profile to promote really good root development. And with this being a newly seeded space, it almost needs force fed a little bit in the early stages to get it established. If this was a ryegrass lawn that I'd seeded from scratch, it would establish really, really quickly. But with a Ben Fescue lawn, it does take a little bit longer to establish. So you do need to condition the soil a little bit more. Once that's matured over the next couple of months, I won't need to put as many feeds down onto this space, but for the time being, it does need quite a lot of feeding because recently we have had a lot of rain, even though we are coming into a bit of a dry spell now, and that rain has obviously washed a lot of that goodness, those nutrients, bacteria out of the soil. So it has needed to be continually topped up over sort of the past few weeks to keep it healthy. You can just see how thick that sward already is, even there with the pinch test. You can see a little bit of soil here and there, but the sward is already unbelievably thick. If I promote too much top growth there, then I could almost get disease in the lawn. The types of Ben Fescues that we got on this top lawn are creeping varieties, so if I promote a shed ton of growth, it's going to start growing laterally, it's going to go agadoo, it's going to fill in even more of those spaces, and this lawn is effectively going to suffocate itself. And you can combat that by scarifying and verticutting and aerating. However, I don't have those attachments yet for the Allet lawnmower. I'm too skint after spending a stupid amount of money on it, so I need to save before I buy them. So again, by putting this on, I'm not going to be putting too much nitrogen down into that space. If I was to get on there with an iron fertilizer now, it's going to absolutely pop. And most fertilizers do contain iron because it turns the grass a little bit greener, but it doesn't actually improve the health of the plant. This is a lawn that I want to have this time next year. It's not a lawn that I want to have to be reseeding year in, year out. So if I take care of the soil, it'll take care of the plants, and overall, it'll take care of the lawn. So let's measure this out. I've got around about 12 square meters up at the top. I'm going to go on with a high application rate of 50 grams per square meter. So let's get 600 grams into the spreader and go from there. Now, for anyone who is wondering, these 2 seed pots were set up when I first seeded the bottom tier lawn. This is the Ben Fescue. It's the exact same grass seed that I've got on the bottom tier over there. And this here is ryegrass. It's the A1 Lawn Premiership Pro that I often use. They've both been sat in the same space. They've been watered by the rain when it's been warm. I've put some water on, but they haven't been touched in around about 3 weeks or so. You can see the Ben Fescue has gone absolutely mad. Just look at the density of that there. And that's the advantage you get of a Ben Fescue lawn, is that it goes so unbelievably dense. And someone's going to say, well, that's going to cause disease. You can scarify it, you can aerate it, you can pull content out to keep it really healthy. If you have a look here at the ryegrass, it's gone grey, silvery, it almost looks like a bluey, silvery grey sort of colour. There's obviously a really tight root mat below, but because it's not being fed with anything, it's really struggled. Now this, I did put down a bit of true grass when it first germinated. Now I'm not saying this is down to the true grass, but you can see again a really tight root mat below, but that's really healthy. You can just see that I love ryegrass. I think it's a great grass. I've got it at the front, it goes a nice dark colour, but it's very needy. It needs to be fed, and if you don't feed it and you don't take care of it, it's not going to turn into an hard man like this, but it is going to struggle a little bit. And this is where the conspiracy theories begin now. This is where people think I'm the CEO of True Grass and I'm promoting it. But honestly, on this channel, what I've been trying to do over the past few years is learn the best way. If you go back to some of my original videos when this garden was just a single slope lawn, you'll know how much of a novice I was, and that's why the channel was called Novice Gardener. And over the past few years, I've tried to learn as best I can and do a lot of research online. And what this YouTube channel's afforded me the chance to do is speak to people who actually know what they're talking about, people who are in the lawn care industry, who have almost like, the inside scoops. That was about 300 grams, by the way, so I only need 2 of these. The inside scoops on what works and what doesn't. You can learn on the go and make 1,000,001 mistakes, but also as well, if you want to fast track that, you can speak to people who have made those mistakes, who have learned certain bits and try it. So the reason why I'm going with Ben Fescue lawns this year is mainly because I've been speaking to the Lawn Association about what makes a great lawn. And if you have watched any of their videos, I'll link the YouTube channel in the description below. They do speak quite critically of ryegrass and more favourably of Ben Fescue. And I know some people on this channel think that I'm being paid by them all. I'm sort of trying to promote them for some sort of personal gain. But just look at this lawn that I'm sat in front of now. I'll insert a clip of how this lawn has looked over the past 2 years. And then when we come back to it, you tell me if it's, if there's an agenda going on. This is the densest sward I've ever had on any lawn. And this lawn down at the bottom is starting to become the same way. And that's, from it being seeded from scratch, there's absolutely no agenda. I've found in the past few months that I've not found, but I've learnt a lot about Ben Fescue and how it works, and I'm still in the early days of understanding the ins and outs of the plant. But I guess time will tell. I'm understanding the lawn a little bit better now. It's more than just chucking down a feed and hoping for the best. It's chucking down a feed for a particular purpose and a reason to do so. So less waffling, let's get on with the feed and let's go from there. I'm using the Iron Health, that's how you pronounce it anyway, but I'm using the spreader today. I've got it on setting 4 and setting 4. Someone mentioned about moving this gauge because it gives you a bit of a tighter spread, and with a small space like this, I might just try adjusting this a little bit, so just bear with me. I've not fertilised this space using this before. And also, as well, it is going to get into the plants at the side, but I really don't mind if it gets onto some of them or the flower bed at the front. Win-win, it's a bonus for the plants at the end of the day. So yeah, let's give this a go, see what happens. So there we go, the space has been fertilised. Because the sward is so thick, if you just get your in close here, I'm not sure how well you can see it, but all the pieces of true grass are just sitting almost like between the grass blades, but I want that to fall down to the soil profile below. So what you can do if this is the case is you can actually get on with a brush and just lightly brush over where you've actually put the fertilizer down. It'll knock it down to the soil profile, or you can get on and just lightly water it in just so it drops down below. You don't have to actually water in true grass. You can just leave it, and nature will just do its thing. It'll kick in whenever it needs to, wherever it gets moist with the soil. But I'm only going to spray just to knock it down, like I said, off the grass blades down to the soil. So thanks for watching today's video. If you want to stick around and see what this lawn is looking like in the next few weeks once the feed really kicks in, feel free to subscribe. And if you'd like to check out any more of my videos or follow along with any lawn care advice that isn't for experts, that is for people who are novices at all this and beginners at lawn care, I keep things as simple as I possibly can. It's not about buying fancy products or doing fancy things. It's about making lawn care simple and getting decent results along the way. So if you have enjoyed the video, give it a like. My Instagram is in the description below. And finally, thanks for watching.